Come on in, everybody, and welcome to the Survivor Now podcast. As always, my name is Randy, and tonight I am joined by Eric Abraham from season 41 to cover Survivor 45, episode 12. We're both back. We both had the week off last week. Matthew and Jack did a fantastic job filling in for us, but we are back this week before next week's finale episode, which we are both super excited for. Abraham, how are we doing tonight? I mean, this was a good episode. I'm just going to put it out there. It was good.
Hey, like I put in my IG post, man, the helicopter's back. That you know what? That was almost the most exciting thing that happened this episode. I was like, they said helicopter. They said, we're not going over to the sanctuary. I was like, oh, what's going on here? So you know what? Great episode, man. And we finally saw some games play, man. Some shit. Some people were doing some things, shaking it up. I thought it was going to be Reba. And I said, somebody got to make a difference in this game before we get to the end. And this episode did not disappoint.
Abraham, I literally screamed. Screamed. Wait, can you, what? Yeah, I was like, was it? No, like I was my brother's home visiting from his time in the military, and we got to watch Survivor together, and he's never been a super big Survivor fan, but he sometimes watches it, you know, when he's home, and we didn't have anything else we were doing tonight. But I jumped off my couch and I was like, let's go! A helicopter! They have a helicopter on Survivor. This is insane right now.
I mean, you might have to get the Bruce shirt. I had the Bruce shirt on. Had the Bruce shirt on last weekend. Couldn't be here. Was at a charity event. Kids Give the World out in Orlando. Had a great time. Raised some great funds for a great charity last week. But me and Randy, like we said, we're back this week. We back. Great episode. You know what? I was proud of Jake this episode. I saw a different side of Jake going into these last final five. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how this all wraps up next week out in LA when we see the season finale. So it's gonna be kind of fun. This is a fun ride. I thought it was gonna be boring. I thought it was just gonna be, let's Reba just vote out everybody. And this is gonna be another boring episode. Nobody really does anything. But kicking it off, we coming back where Julie plays the idol that Austin gave her to look out for her a few episodes back. She pays it so she doesn't get voted out the game. That is a hell of a way to start.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that because we weren't on the show last week, so we can touch base on that before getting into tonight's episode. What did you think about that move? Julie making a big game move to play the idol that Austin gave her, which we have been saying, you know, we never saw Julie give the idol back. She plays that, saves herself to send Emily home. I thought that was the wrong move at the time. I thought it would have been huge for her to take a swing at a Drew or an Austin, but instead she decides to send Emily home, who she felt like was the biggest player in the game.
Look, now's the time we got to talk about resume building, getting ready to manage the jury. That was Dee's move. Dee can always come back and say, look, Julie, I let you know that they were going to vote you out. So even if Dee and Julie end up at the final together, Dee has more credit than Julie has. Because if Dee hadn't said anything to do Julie, guess what? Julie would have left out with an idol in her pocket too, just like Bruce. So I'm gonna credit that move to Dee for letting her know, but for Julie for executing it.
I was about to say, are you giving Dee all the credit or no? Julie still gets some credit, but Dee gets more than.
Now I would have gave Julie 100% credit had she voted Austin out. Because I didn't think Emily was a bigger threat at that time. I was like, you know what? If you're going to take a big swing, because now we're getting into the resume writing time. This is the time in the game where you got to say, okay, you either make a move or you become that person that only gets one or no votes. So Julie played it well. I still would have liked for her to either vote out of Austin or a Drew and not a Emily. I think it were bigger targets, but I still like the way it played out. So that was the caption of last week. Good episode. Glad to see Julie still playing. You know, so it was pretty interesting to see how she was going to go back to camp, because camp life is really kind of fickle after somebody tries to blindside you and it doesn't go right. Now it's like,
and I quote that Julie just coming out and saying, well, "This is awkward," because no one is saying anything. We can actually start there before we get into the rest of the episode. We'll just start at the top like we used to do. By the way, if you guys enjoy our content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check us out at our website. You can see it at the bottom of the screen, survivornowpodcast.com. You can check out all of our videos there. All of our audio recordings, you can check it out there as well. Also on Spotify, and make sure to join into the live chat. If you've got something you want to say about tonight's episode, maybe you were super mad that Jake went home, you can join our Ancient Voices chat and let us know what you think. We love interacting with the fans out there. Our YouTube, first off, I want to say a huge thank you. Our YouTube numbers just came out. We had an incredible season, Abraham. I should have had it pulled up and prepared here. 603 new subscribers this year, 74.8 thousand views, 2,200 likes, 406 comments, 798 shares. Thank you guys for sharing it with your friends. And then our most watched video of the year goes to Jordy Hansen's exit interview at 6.3 thousand views.
Jordy,
so
you talking about the Joker?
The Joker. Our most watched video of the year was my interview with the Joker. 6.3 thousand. Abraham, those numbers are insane from where we started.
Give him your numbers back in the days.
4 subscribers.
Hey, you know what? That goes to show, man, just perseverance, putting together a good quality product, and just keep building. I mean, keep building. We owe this all to Randy Bruce because Randy put together the podcast. He keeps us moving forward. And we come out here, man. We support what we're building, and we built from 32, well, from 4 to now. It's just a compliment. It's just something you got to put work in stuff. If you want something to be something, you got to put work into it. And Randy and the rest of the team definitely we put work into it, and we continue to put work into it. Continue to try to be better at it. That's what we're hoping to see from these last 6 players on this episode of Survivor.
Put the work in, but we can start at the top there. So Austin brings up his amulet. This is the last tribal council. He can play it, and we will get to that. But we have to start off the episode here. Dee putting on a wonderful acting job. I mean, you know, as an actor, that's my profession. She was doing a terrific job. Abraham, what did you think about Dee's performance? Was it Oscar worthy? Was she doing a terrific job here?
It was Survivor Oscar worthy, and here's why. One, you got 2 opportunities here. One, you got to convince everybody that you wasn't a part of the deal that you made with Julie, which she did. She sold it. And you also, like I told, coming into the game, you got to have 1 or 2 people you can trust. Right now, she has Julie on one side and she has Austin on the other side. That's 3. So no matter what happens now, she can at least get down to the final 3 and the final 4 because those same relationships are still there. Now, she's playing both sides, and we're going to see that tug of war. But you're in the game of Survivor for $1 million. Get your 1 or 2 players, and y'all ride it to the end. Eventually, you're going to have to go after each other. But don't let it be like at number 6 or number 5 if you can avoid it. But right now, you're playing for $1 million. This is when the game gets in. It gets real dirty. They say,
Abraham, I'm gonna put it out there. Abraham. This was a move that really made me realize this. I think Dee is playing the best game we've seen of the new eras so far.
Ooh, that's
I said I was going to put it out there. I think Dee is playing the best game of the new era so far. I don't know. I'm interested. Let us know in the chat. I'm interested to hear who other people say, but she just has a control. You brought it up. She has such a great control of the game. She's got Julie, who thinks she's going to the end with her. She's got Austin, her boo, who thinks that she's going to the end with him. And you still have players like Katurah is very close with Dee. We saw that this episode as well. She went straight to Dee, and she even said, I think I can pull in Dee. So she's got 3 out of the remaining 5 players who think they are very close. And she's one of them. So 3 out of the remaining 4 who think they are really, really close with her. She has set herself up to where I don't see how Dee doesn't win this season. I think the only way she doesn't is when she makes it to the final three. I think there's no way she doesn't. When she makes it to the final three, if the jury doesn't give their votes to Dee, I think that's the only way that she does not win this season.
Well, we got Survivor's known for pettiness. So, but here's the thing. Really, she has a good resume right now. Right now, she has an excellent resume. Somebody else would have to come out. Katurah couldn't beat her sitting next to her. So we're not even worried. Jake definitely can't beat her sitting next to her. Austin, to me, it's a toss-up. But after she made that move with Julie, that puts Austin behind her. So I don't think Austin can beat her on a toss-up. Drew, he had some good moves. But we got to see who makes it to the final three now. So I think that if you got an Austin, a Drew, and a Dee sitting next to each other, one of them going to kind of cancel each other out. I think it's going to be kind of some balancing acts. But I think right now, you're right. Dee's in the best position right now. If we had to call the game today, I'll definitely put Dee up there as a Soul Survivor winner. So, and that's just how she's playing the game on this last episode.
Well, and you brought up the pettiness. Like, juries can be petty, but I'm pretty sure the jury likes Dee. We saw it tonight when she went to Tribal Council. She's wearing the necklace. Everyone looks around. Dee's got the necklace. Dee's got the necklace. And you just saw smiles on everybody's face. It seems like she's loved by the jury, and she hasn't really been the one who's been cutting throats. It has appeared that that's been Austin or Drew. I think Dee has been, and I've been saying it for weeks. Every time people are like, who's the ringleader of this Reba alliance? Everyone's been saying Drew. Abraham, I've been saying I think Dee has been controlling this group for a while now. And she's doing such a terrific job of being the one who throws out the names, but not being the one who chops their head off when it comes down to it.
Hey, like a Marianne and Mike, you just got to be able to present your case. So when she stands in front of the jury, she just got to be able to present her case. And I think with these last couple of episodes, she has enough of a case to win Survivor. So we let's unpack this episode and see what happens to Dee in this episode.
There were highs and there were lows for people in this episode. We're going to get more to Drew, but this is where we really started seeing Julie versus Drew that first night after the previous Tribal Council, where Julie runs up, launches herself, lands on Drew, Dee, and Austin, and she's like, oh, the four of us back together again. And we get this funny confessional from Drew, who goes, no, we are not friends at the moment. Get off me. Like, stop.
You know what? It's really almost like
what were you
it's almost like the Katurah Bruce edit. They always edit showing that they was at each other. But we never, if you ever go back and look at these previous episodes, we never saw them actually going at each other in face to face. We always saw it in the edits. So here's the thing. Same thing with Drew and Julie. In the edits, they are sworn enemies now. She don't trust him. He don't trust her. He wants her out of the game, but at the end of the day, the Survivor. Sometimes your enemy is your frenemy. So you got to be mindful how you go down this path. And I think Drew, looking at his reaction to this episode, sometimes you just get too caught up in one-dimensional stuff. Because you got to think about it. It's still Reba Strong. They still got a Katurah. They still got a Jake that they could vote out. They don't necessarily have to vote out Julie at this next one. You tried one time. It didn't work. Let's see if they want to try it again.
Well, I think a big thing here, Abraham, is it became apparent that Drew was looking too far forward. He was already getting the $1 million. We got that in Tribal Council when he literally was telling Jeff, the later you get in the game, the closer you get to that $1 million check, the more you start looking at that. And there was a line that Julie had that I wrote down, and she said, the kids are turning on their mama, or something along that line. Kids are turning on Mama J. And that's kind of how it felt here. How she had been looking over the Reba Alliance as like the mom of the group, and her and Drew have had such a great relationship. But it got to the point where Julie was still wanting to stay Reba Strong until the very end, which is very hard to do. It's tough to take an alliance like that and go all the way to the end with them, while Drew, like a switch had been flipped. And for him, it was looking more clear that he was very confident, and you have been saying, Abraham, that he was getting too confident. He was very confident. He saw the $1 million and he's like, I know that's mine. I've played the best game. Got a little too cocky for him and it cost him here.
You know, at the end of the game of Survivor, stay humble through the game. There's going to be plenty of time once they crown you the winner to be whoever you choose to be, but you got to get there. And here's the thing about tribal council. Less is more. Don't overshare, don't overtalk in tribal council because all you're doing is digging a hole for yourself. Some people dig themselves into the hole. Some people dig themselves out of a hole. Drew, we knew this episode by the edits, something was coming for Drew because he was in almost every edit. And then we get to the first challenge. Now, I got to give credit where credit is due. We got a brand new challenge. Oh, production sitting back there, man. I know they running that team of the team that actually goes through the challenges before we do them. They running them because this challenge here, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is definitely something different. But that wasn't hey, look, Randy, that wasn't a sweet spot. When Jeff said we're not going to the sanctuary, I was like, oh, that was paddle boating. He said we got a helicopter. I was like, a helicopter?
No. He didn't say it like that. First off, he's like, so he shows that the reward is a picnic. Then he goes, you guys are going to go to a sand pit or a sand spot or something like that. We would call it a
sand dune, or I forget what it's in the middle of the ocean that with the sand with the tide.
Yeah, but he's like, you're going to go to the middle of the ocean. I was already up. I was screaming. Are you kidding me? They're not going to the sanctuary. They could have sat on a bloody rock for all that I care, and I would have been happy with it. No sanctuary, please. And so that was good enough. I was already happy. And then he utters the words, and that's not all. You're going to be lifted there by a helicopter. When was the last time we had a helicopter reward? That has always been like a Survivor staple almost. And I feel like with Survivor 45, they are finally beginning to listen to the fans and go back on some things that we've been begging for. You know, we saw the auction back. This is the first time in the new era that we're seeing an actual reward. It begins to have me think, are we going to get loved ones videos coming back soon? Are we going to get loved ones visits? Like, it has you
that
thinking,
might be season 46.
It has you thinking, what else are they willing to bring back? Because they are starting to bring these things back, which makes it feel like classic Survivor, the classic Survivor that we all grew to love. And the new era has still been fantastic, but this has been great to see. This was a wonderful moment to have an actual reward on the US version of the show.
Yeah, I think you married it to, you can bring up elements from the old Survivor that are a staple regardless. It'll make a difference if the new era or the old era. I think that having a helicopter and going and doing something different, a reward challenge should be a reward challenge, period. It shouldn't be a visit to the same place and all you're doing is changing the food. So this is a great reward challenge. Give them a chance to get away, but we also see strategy play because we got Austin thinking, I'm taking D because we already know.
So Austin won the reward challenge.
Let's back up. Let's back up to the challenge. Great challenge. It was a great challenge.
Austin dominated it, but I thought it was a good challenge.
You know, you back in that water. For all y'all that don't want to learn how to swim, you back in that water again. And the barrels and the ropes, I thought it just made for a very complicated but very simplistic type of challenge. Then you get to the ultimate slide. You know what? You can actually get that on your iPad because I got it on my iPad before I went to go play, so I could practice on it. It's a numerical thing. Once you figure it out, you can figure out slide puzzle. Anyway, I digress. We get Austin as the winner.
Carson's making puzzles now. They just look. Oh no! Ooh. A little shout out. He just opened up a store. Just a little shout out for our friend of the show, Carson.
Oh, for a puzzle? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. He's gonna 3D print puzzles. You could go to his shop and you can and buy puzzles yourself and practice before you go out on Survivor.
Nice.
Yeah, give him a little shout out. Sorry, go back to what you were saying.
Okay. Austin is the winner. We're still playing the game of Survivor. He picks D. There was no question about that. But I do like the way he explained not picking Drew. Now, for all you Survivor players, this is a cliff note that you want to take. You can't take everybody. And Drew and Austin knew. They said, look, I can't take Drew and I can't take D. So I'm taking D
because you can't leave. It was a great strategic move because you can't leave Katurah, Jake, and Julie back at camp to strategize against you. And that's the exact reason we knew he was going to take D. That's his boo. We're seeing that relationship, and we're going to get more into that. Yeah, we're going to get more into that in a couple minutes. We're seeing
hold
that
on. Let's back up for a second. I hate to cut you off, Let's back up because we left out a very key point. Couture got up that morning saying, hey, Idol played, Idol put back in play.
Oh, I was going to bring that up a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
yeah. So you can't send Julie, Katurah, and Jake back to camp because those are 3 players who could easily form a bond and then go against yourself, D, and Jake. So he decides, I'm taking D. I have to take D. That's my girl. If you're sitting at home and you're like, no, I wouldn't have done that, stop. If you're crushing on a very attractive woman on the island, you're going to take her, like on the reward. Come on. Now, yeah, everybody would. So that leaves, who do you take? He's going to take Katurah, and that leaves Jake back because he said it perfectly during the episode. Jake, Julie, and Drew are at each other's throats. They are not going to work together. And we saw that play out when they were back at camp. They didn't talk whatsoever. Julie and Drew went back they went their separate ways looking for idols. And then you had Jake and Julie were looking for idols. And then you had Drew, who was throwing a little tantrum. Well, that's what I was going to say, Abraham. You said, the way Austin explained it explains why he couldn't take Drew, but don't tell Drew that because Drew was very upset that he was not taking on this reward. And lucky for Austin, it didn't end up blowing up in his face. But I said at the time that was a bad move because you have Drew who believes he is your number 1 in the game, yet you choose D. And then you choose Katurah. I thought it was a very bad decision by Austin, but ultimately in the end, it ends up working out for him.
But here's the thing now. Remember now, Drew also has a special item as well. So he has the capability to walk out of tribal council.
No, he doesn't. That expired.
Oh, it already expired?
Yeah. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Stop letting people walk. Stop letting stuff expire. Or production, take it away. If it expires, don't bring it back. So you got Drew in there. It was funny when he threw that pot. First of all, that pot, the top of that pot is heavy. It's a cast iron steel pot. So don't be playing people think that you can sling the pot top. That pot is heavy. So he slings that. He kind of goes to the flashback and not being picked in school. And strategy-wise, great move on Austin. Great way to lay it out. But you still got Drew. And it could have went either way because Drew's a little upset about the fact that he didn't get picked. And again, it's dicey. But it was a good strategy.
He had to take D. You were right, Abraham. He had to take D.
Yeah, I'll take D. What you talking about? I just saw D last week. I'm taking her. So no. So we know that this was going to happen, and this was a good move in Survivor, good actual challenge. And now we got Julie and Jake together. And Jake's like, I'm not your babysitter. Jake played the game like it should have been played. I'm not your babysitter. If you want to look for some idols, let's look for them.
Loved it. He literally said, Julie's a grown-ass woman. I'm playing Jake's game. I don't care what Julie's doing. I'm playing Jake's game. I loved it. I love Jake this episode, and we're going to get more to Jake as we break this episode down. What do you think about the looking for peppers remark? That's the excuse they gave. We're gonna go look for peppers, and Jake said we're looking for peppers under rocks, under leaves.
Look, I didn't know they had peppers on other islands until I met Gina. And Gina was like, oh, yeah, we had peppers. I cut them up. I was like, peppers? Man, we scoured the island. We didn't see any peppers. So there are islands in Fiji that does have peppers or some type of plants like that. So here's the thing about it is, great cover, but here's why it works. Because Jake was like, I'm not your babysitter. You grown-ass woman. I'm not your babysitter. I need to look for an idol. I'm still playing the game of Survivor. I got to do my resume. I thought that was a good scene that was captured. And they're going to tell you once you get on the show, if you don't say it and we don't capture it, it's never been said. I thought the people that edited did a great job of capturing that moment between them because Julie was like, well, I'm going to be looking for an idol too. Jake, what are we going to do? So the only one left in the dark is Drew. So Drew ultimately, by being upset, kind of put himself in a situation where if they'd have found an idol at that time, Drew now is a target. And he could have got away with not being a target by being a better babysitter, but he wasn't. Who knows?
I know. Well, that was a funny scene too. The moment that Drew looks around and notices they're both gone, and you just see his face go, "Oh shoot!"
Get out.
Abraham, are you going to babysit anyone? If I told you to go back to camp and babysit, would you do it?
Hell no. Oh, shit, you're trying to get voted out messing with me. Oh, you want me to be the babysitter? Oh, okay. I'm gonna vote you out. Now, if Drew remembered what Austin had, which was the amulet that's now an idol, he would have been like, well, I know Austin got to play this. So, and that whole thing was even, I like the amulet. I don't like the fact that it wasn't played until you got to this moment, which was the last moment, which happens in Survivor. But at the end of the day, I think that it was so much fun to watch Julie and Jake rebuild a little bit of their bond, because once Jake voted for her, she was on hell on wheels on them. But to build a little bit of that bond back, because this is the game of Survivor. Your enemies become your frenemies, and we're going to see where Julie and Jake, they become frenemies.
I think this is going to be a duo that goes into next week's episode as well. I think I loved how they built their relationship back. And these are two people who have been on, at the very bottom. Even Jake said during Tribal Council tonight, look, it's not fun when you're in that position. It's not fun when you don't have any friends. Your ass is on the chopping block. So I think they were able to bond over the fact that, they know they're on the bottom. They know they're the next to go. That can be a very powerful thing in Survivor. So I think it's well said. Become friends with your enemies.
I would love to see the edits that we don't see, because we got 3 lawyers left. Who's are left.
The third?
Katurah, Julie, and Jake are all lawyers.
Oh, I forgot Julie's a lawyer.
All lawyers.
Hey,
and I'm like,
that's good. That just goes to show more people are going to be worried about lawyers on the game of Survivor, because everyone believes that lawyers are like the best Survivor players in the game.
They only know of 2 of them. They only know that Julie is a lawyer, and they only know Jake a lawyer. They still don't know Katurah is a lawyer.
If I'm ever on Survivor, I'm not going to be nervous about the lawyers. I'm going to be nervous about the police officers. That's just me personally. I think that's the profession that I think you'd be really good at the game. All right. So during this time, we have the reward. They fly the helicopter right over the beach, which pisses Drew off even more. This was not a good episode for Drew. He was pissed almost throughout the entire thing. They were joking about that. We see, and this is where I want to get to the relationship side of things, Katurah notices Dee and Austin holding hands. This is a relationship that we've seen building for a few weeks now. It started off, early on. They're just friends on the island. They're not going to get into a what's it called? Oh my God, why is the word
showmance?
Thank you, Abraham. They're not going to get into a showmance, but we began to see that play out here. I thought this was very funny. They were playing like, I don't talk about the music enough in Survivor. They were playing like Love Boat music during their time out there. They were shoving the crackers, the cheese, charcuterie down their throats. And I just put Austin and Dee's relationship is growing. We get very cute scenes where I know there's a confessional where the producer is talking to Dee and he goes, I was asking you what your feelings for Austin are. And she goes, I don't know. I mean, like he's cool. And then it cuts to Austin kind of doing the same thing. Abraham, I'm very interested to like see how this works out, if they're in a relationship or not nowadays. But this is something that we're watching grow before our eyes. They even mentioned this episode, and I thought this was a nice move, Austin. Nice move. He goes, you know what? One of my favorite moments in Survivor is Rob and Amber's story. That might have been last week. Sorry, I just watched last week's episode to catch up. I think that was last week. Yeah, I think it was last week's. But that was still a nice move, and we're starting to see stuff like that where they're getting closer and closer each time. This episode, I don't know if you guys caught it. You saw her Dee rested her chin on like his shoulder and was just laying there. You could tell they sleep together at night. So, Abraham, walk us through. Showmances can be a very dangerous thing, and this is something that Dee had to battle with this episode because she wants to tell Austin that the plan is to vote out his best friend so bad, but she can't. She's like, Dee, you told yourself coming out here, don't let your emotions get in the way.
You know what? You're playing a game for $1 million called Outwit, Outplay, Outlast. At some point, you will have to do something that you don't want to do. Now, if the person doesn't understand that, because we haven't seen next week's episode, we're going to see if he can understand the fact that Drew had to be voted out. Even though he wanted to take Drew to the end with him, we're going to see if he can understand it, because at the end of the day, if you don't make a decision, somebody's going to make a decision for you. And Dee made a decision. She joined the rest of them and she voted out Drew. So we're going to see how that plays out next week, because Julie, again, let's go back to the fact I said, when you start the game, get 1 or 2 people. She still has Julie. So in actuality, Dee has the upper hand. Now, are you going to get the showmance or are you going to get the $1 million? Somewhere you got to make a decision. The Boston Rob Amber days, if you remember, Boston Rob didn't get the $1 million. He got Amber. Amber won that season.
Yeah, Amber did.
Amber won. So technically he still got it. But here's the thing. Do you want the title of Soul Survivor? Do you want the $1 million or do you want the showmance? I'm taking that $1 million like Amber did and Boston Rob. I'll see you when you win yours, which he did. So I say play on. Play on. I'll play out last and play it to the end. And I think Dee has decided that she wanted to play it to the end because she did not tell Austin that they were going to vote Drew out. Because I think if Dee had shared that with Austin, he would have went a different way. I think he would have played the amulet for him, and we would have saw Drew give it away. I mean, we saw Drew not get voted out tonight. But Drew was, let me tell you what, Drew was talking cash money. Cash money. He was kicking coconuts. He was kicking coconuts and pine trees.
He had one thing on mind, but yeah, this relationship, this showmance, it's really fun to see. And I've been hoping for it throughout the entire season. I've been like, they would be so cute together. And I love how Dee this episode says, you know what? When a man acts on his promise, that's when you know it's real. And Austin acted on his promise. Austin said, if I win a reward, I'm going to take you. And first name he threw out without even thinking, Abraham, Dee. I'm
Look
taking
here, action. Actions speak louder than words, and here he had the actions. But here's the cool thing. I like the fact that they showed his history of when he had braces, when he grew up.
He looks completely different. What a glow up.
Acne. I said, yeah, man, you went a transformation to the young man he is now playing the game of Survivor. And it's just a good flashback. I think this whole episode was edited really nicely to give us a peek inside different people, but also to see, where they at right now. And we're seeing that, and we're seeing the game develop, and we're seeing a great season finale come to pass here. So I'm enjoying it. And you get back from the helicopter ride, you get the snack out there. Now you got to play a whole different other game, because now the next challenge, the immunity challenge.
Well, we are going to get to the immunity challenge, and we have a lot of idol talk to go over. We have someone who found an idol who will be able to play it next week. We had a bunch of people hunting. We already talked about they're all looking for peppers out there on the island. We're going to take a quick ad break. Be right back to break it all down.
Are you a Survivor superfan? Are you obsessed with Survivor?
Oh my God!
Do you dream of one day getting the chance to play?
This is my dream since I was 11, to be on this boat with you right here. I am beside myself that I'm here right now, and I'm with my new family. What's better than this, man? This is the best.
Carson showed us it pays to prepare for all the puzzles, and you can practice yourself with idle plays. We are talking the circle puzzle from Survivor San Juan del Sur, the crate puzzle and haberdasher from Survivor 43, the iconic fire puzzle, the Fitz Tower that Michelle won twice, the log maze from Survivor China, the tree puzzle that Carson won, Spencer's 5-piece puzzle, the impossible snake to the top, and the endurance will it go round challenge. I know, crazy, but there is more, with the big time bundle giving all 10 puzzles away for a bigger discount. The holiday season is fast approaching. If you know a Survivor super fan in your life, these Survivor replica puzzles are perfect for them. Thank you so much to the Survivor Now team for showcasing idle plays. Use the link in the description or go to idleplays.com and use the code Survivor Now Podcast at checkout to help support the team.
All my hard work paid off. I have 3D printed this puzzle in my house and put it together probably 1,000 times. I think it's a lesson that you should always be prepared.
I am so bad at this puzzle. Russell, well, you didn't tell me it was so hard, my dude.
First of all, they say practice. Practice.
I'm trying to practice. You know how difficult this puzzle is?
Let me tell you something. When Jeff calls you to be on the show, put that in your bag. Take it on with you so you can practice.
You can. You heard it from the man himself, Idle Plays. Thank you so much for being a partner for Survivor Now podcast. you can get your puzzle. Use that code Survivor Now Podcast to get some money off. It is the holiday season. After all, and 3 of you are going to win some puzzles yourself if you win our Survivor Fantasy competition, which there is only 1 week left in that. So next week, a few people are going to win the opportunity to win a custom pop figure from Todd Herzog and a custom cameo as well. So yeah, there's some incredible prizes. Make sure, I mean, we've got some great partners, like absolutely blessed that we were able to find these partners. Bring up Katie Tedesco Art, Freak Like Meatsy. We have some incredible partners. Yeah, Katie Tedesco has been with us since we were getting 2 or 3. Yeah, 2 to 3 viewers. Also, our partnership with Bracketology, who lets us run this fantasy competition. So just wonderful partnerships. I can't thank all of them enough. So definitely make sure to check that out. If the link is not in the bio now, I will add it in the bio after we go off the air. So make sure to just come back, click on that link, and you can get some money off of your Idle Plays order. All right, let's talk about looking for peppers. It was a big thing this episode. Abraham brought it up earlier. Katurah went out looking
early.
Usually in Survivor, when an idol gets played, it goes back in the game. Although, Abraham, I wasn't thinking about that because it's so late in the game. I just thought, Survivor probably didn't rehide it because it would only be good for 2 tribal councils. But they did. We see Katurah looking, but it was Jake who ends up finding a clue. And I like this. It was hidden in the tribe raft. And he had to unscrew a little compartment. There it is. So now Jake has his hands on an individual immunity idol.
You know what? I like the way they laid it out. I like the way they started off and gave us a little snippet with Katurah up early that morning looking for an idol. I liked it when Austin was looking for her, and Dean. It was like she was like, "Hey, I don't want Julie to find an idol. Idol back in play. I don't want Julie to find an idol," because it all leads up to a great move in this episode. So we finally, Jake, thank you. You finally got a break in Survivor because it was looking rough there for a while.
You know what I also really liked? I thought about this. It would have made a lot of sense. It would have been a big game move if Jake let everyone pile on Julie and then played his idol to keep Julie in the game. When he was talking to Julie about making the move against Drew, I was worried that he was going to tell Julie about his idol. He didn't tell a soul. From what we saw, he did not tell anybody. So the only one who knows about that idol heading into Final 5 is Jake. And ideally, Abraham, Jake has booked his way to the Final 4. At the very least, he's got a chance at Fire to make the finale. That is where you want to be in this game. He controls his destiny at this point.
Now, I'm going to hit y'all with the truth bomb. If Jay make it to the final 3, he gets no votes.
I do think he's going to be the no vote.
He gets no votes. You waited too late. You kind of played from the back the whole time. I mean, it's other players. So I'm kind of interested to see who goes out. Julie or Katurah goes out next, because Jake should play it to save himself, because that puts him down. We're at the final 5. So that's going to put him down to the final 4.
There's no other way Jake should play this but for himself. If you have a chance to make it to Fire, no question, you play that for yourself.
No, but I look, Jake, when I see you again, man, let me tell you something. I am so glad you out. You're on a high note now. You found an idol. You got a chance to make it to final 3, because they've been beating you up this whole season, but you've been still ducking. They've been ducking and dodging. They'd be like, hey, what happened to Jake? Oh, Jake's still in the game? Oh, Jake's still in the game. Also, Jake had a great, compelling tribal council that kept him in the game. Then he just fought the whole time.
I also love how he looks at the camera. It's always like,
Jake,
I can't do his face. He goes so serious. He's like laughing about something, and then he goes straight to and I can't do it.
So,
oh my God, kills me. Now, let me ask you this, Abraham. I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Is there a way? Remember, Marianne played a sort of quiet game herself. Not my favorite winner of all time. We different story. But she had an idol that she never used, waited until she got to the final 3, and then she used that as like a marketing tool for herself, pulled it out. Look, I've had this idol that I didn't play and I didn't need to play because that's how good my social game was. That's how strong I played to stay in the game. And it won her season 42.
That was a resume exclamation
42.
mark.
Was it
Because
42? Now I'm getting my seasons. Yeah, it was
Hold
42.
up.
Yeah.
42. That's an exclamation mark for Marianne in that season. Here's the thing about it is, like I said, you're at the point now you gotta have a resume. You gotta have something you can talk on that says, hey, this is what set me apart in these 3 categories: outplay, outlast, outwit. You gotta be able to set yourself apart. You know, it's already gonna be a couple of people on the jury that's not gonna vote for you or not gonna be fair to you sometimes. But at the end of the day, you hope that say, look, let me tell you what I've done to get here. So what is Jake gonna say? Well, I found an idol at the end. You got there. You can't really take credit for the vote out.
So you don't think it's going to be enough for Jake?
In comparison to the players that could make it there, no. Because he played from the back for almost 3 or 4, 5 episodes. I mean, he was in the back. You're being chopped up to get voted off. I would give it to Caleb before I give it to Jake because Caleb made a master move. He played the shot in the dark, won another opportunity, just could not get by the hump. And then, Emily, knocked him over the head a couple times. So he was out. Bam. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see, one, how Jake plays it, because now he has the idol. And is he going to use it for a tool to vote out of Austin or to vote a D out? I mean, you're going to have to get one of those 2 out. In order for Jake to win the game of Survivor, he has to get out of D or Austin. I'll put it to you that way. So there's still a slim chance that he can win the game of Survivor, but he has to be able to vote one of those 2 out.
I say if he knows where the votes are going, play your idol. I don't think he will because, like I said, if you make it to this point of the game where you can guarantee yourself a chance at fire, then you have to play it for yourself. But if he knows the votes are going to fall on, say, Katurah or D, play the idol for that person, save them, and then you get to pick who goes home. And that's your chance to get out a big player like Austin, which I think ideally, I think Austin's going to be the most difficult player to get out of the game at this point in time. Because I just also don't know. I also don't know who's going to compete. I mean, besides D, who's going to compete with Austin at these immunity challenges? It's kind of D versus Austin at this point.
I wasn't going to disagree with you on the immunity challenge because I was going to say who could actually Jake beat at the immunity challenge based off of his past immunity challenges. But here's the thing. I think going into this last one, Austin doesn't have any special things anymore. His stuff is all gone. So you're going to depend on actually winning straight out immunity. You're right. And D is a competitor. Now, we did see the introduction of a whole new game called Let's See If Your Foot Fall Asleep. I thought it was a good one.
D was so good at this challenge.
Her foot was dead.
Her and her feet, man.
Her big toe. Was it a little toe or big toe?
Big toe. Her big toe. She did not move. This was her challenge. She did. I'm convinced she could have went for hours. Her ball did not move.
Her foot was dead. Her foot was got the tingling feeling when your foot started to die off. She had the tingling feeling going. That was what keeping her alive. And Austin over there like, I can do it. Now, here's what's kind of funny is I would have played kind of hard, but I knew I had to use my special my amulet. I would have played a little bit hard to look like I just didn't give it to her. But since you already took her to lunch, I'd have went ahead and gave that challenge up. And once Drew lost, I was like, it's a wrap.
Look over at her, blow her a kiss, and be like, "You got this, babe."
It's for you. This is for you.
Oh, but again, that would be so sweet. That would have been so sweet.
He had a good challenge. He lasted, I think it was after 12 minutes. That's the last time I checked on it. After 12 minutes, I mean, it was a good challenge. I like the fact that they created a whole new challenge. And the growth of the game of Survivor, I am just ecstatic about what 45 looks like compared to 41 in the new era. Now we really seen the new era Survivor. So I'm glad to see those changes. We see where D comes in there. D wins her second immunity necklace. And now this is where it falls. This is where the wheels falls off for Drew. Because Drew's now talking cash money about voting Julie out.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the Dream Team. That's how you shout out your team without putting them on camera for 20 minutes like they did in season 41 where they
Yeah,
No,
the dream team.
that was a nice little shout out. He said the dream team lasted 21 minutes, and we get a funny comment from Jake who goes, "Well, guess I won't be on the dream team."
Yeah, hey, look, for all the fans that are out there that you want to play the game of Survivor or be a part of this whole community, look into the dream team. They are great.
I wanted to go out there. I'd
Yeah.
love to be a member of the dream team.
I've only met one dream team member for Survivor one time. It's funny, it was in Atlanta, but the dream team, that's how some people get into production. That's how some people get into being in that Survivor community. But it's a great opportunity to go somewhere. And I can't call his name because it's escaping me for the moment. Keith. Keith was one of our handlers. He since passed away. That he was on my season, but he originally started as one of the dream team members. I want to say Samoa. And he started as a dream team member, moved on. He was in production. He got to do so many different other things, but it started at that dream team thing was one of his introduction to this environment here as far as production, cameras, storytelling, Survivor. So get out there. I know it's an application online. Apply to be on the dream team and see if you can get out there and enjoy that adventure, man, because it's fun. I won't be practicing any games. No.
No? You don't want to be a member of the dream team, Abraham?
No. I want to come out there and get my vote back. That's what I want to do. So we see the vote. We see D wins hers. She wins the challenge, get the necklace. I wanted to wear that necklace once.
Oh,
she wins the necklace.
Oh, you just wanted to wear a necklace in general. I was saying that
No.
necklace is so
I want to wear that one. I want to win that. I wanted Jeff to say, Abraham, you won immunity. You're safe from the vote. I wanted to hear the speech. I was ready. I was giving it up. I gave my body and everything. Anyway, I'm going.
Hey, you can go back out. You can go back out and play on the island someday. You'll get your second chance. My
powers are strong. My powers are still strong. So we see D win. Now we're saying, okay, now we go on the tribal council. Drew is saying it's a clear vote. I want Julie out. Again, fixated. Sometimes people get fixated on the wrong thing.
It was a one-lane road for Drew. He had his eyes on that. At this point in the game, he had his eyes on the $1 million, and that's the only thing he was focusing on.
But we got Jake lurking in the background talking about, I'm going to convince Couture that she has an idea to vote out Drew. And Julie's like, oh, I'm all with this vote Drew out. Here's the thing about it is, you turn on one of your other players and you don't get them out, look out for him. Look out for him. Look over your shoulder. And he did not look over his shoulder. So now we make it to what? Tribal council.
This was terrific strategy from Jake. This is where I think Jake did really well. He didn't tell anyone about his idol, didn't bring it up to Julie. He did tell Couture when Couture was like, oh, we should try to pull in D. He said, no, don't even worry about D. We don't need D. We've got this 3-3 split plan. If you tell D, she might blow everything up. There's no reason. Now, we did see Couture, who I would be happy with anyone winning this season other than Couture. I think Couture has not been a great game player. She's told one thing, and then she goes and tells everybody. She's that kid in high school that they say don't tell your secrets to because she's going to go spread it around the entire school. That's Couture. It's been all season. You tell her something, everyone else is going to find out because of Couture. So I understood Jake's kind of nervousness, and sure enough, Couture runs and tells her bestie and D about the plan. Thankfully, D was already on board to blindside Drew, and this is where we got that very interesting dynamic where we see D start to get emotional and say, this is tough. I really want to tell Austin. I told myself coming out here, no showmances. Don't let your feelings get in the way. But Abraham, she really had to battle here and not tell Austin that, the target tonight was Drew.
And that's how, here's the thing about it is you're in Survivor. You've been stripped down in Survivor, food, your environment, you've been stripped down. So you really are battling with yourself to try to balance things out that, normally would be easy or not as difficult. So we see where D is really contemplating it. But go back now where I tell everybody the same thing. Get one or two people up front. She already got Julie. Jake already had Julie to go say, oh, I want to vote Drew out. Julie was already on board voting Jake out anyway. Voting Drew out anyway. So here you go. She's the connection for D. You don't have to go to D. He's right. Don't go to D.
Yeah,
Julie
there's
already
no
took care of
reason.
that for
We
her.
have the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, so they was gonna have 4 votes anyway. I like the when he said, "I'm gonna test Couture out again. I tried that 3-3 thing before and it didn't work out for me." So you're trusting somebody to go and do this again. But also remember how the show played out. Couture also looked over there and saw the showmance of Austin and D. So she like, hey, we need to bust these numbers up because they still got good numbers going into this final tribal or this tribal council. So everything kind of aligned for Jake to get a little snippet of a resume, to get a little snippet.
That's another thing about Couture. I don't understand how she can. Does she see Jake as her number 2 or does she see D as her number 2? Because the way she acted going straight to D tells me that she sees D as her number 2. You can't possibly see D as your number 2 when you know this showmance is happening. It should be apparent to everybody that D and Austin are like this, but yet Julie thinks that D's her number 1. Katurah thinks D's her number 1. That's why we spoke about it at the very start of the podcast, Abraham. That's why D is in such a good place moving forward, going into the finale, because everybody wants to go to the end with D. And frankly, I think D will beat anybody at a final 3.
Let me tell you something now. For all you Survivor players, Jake has the best opportunity the next episode when they got to vote again to win the game of Survivor. If he votes out Austin of D, he wins the game of Survivor. But here's the thing about it. You still got to get there, but you got to take one of those 2 out. And since nobody knows let me repeat this. Nobody knows he has an immunity idol. At this point in the game, is power. So he could use himself as a pawn and say, hey, well, yeah, they're going to vote for me. Okay, I'll take all the votes. Now I'm going to get D or I'm going to get Austin. So either one that doesn't win immunity, if they have and they don't win, that's the one I'm going to target to get out. Because it's a big move. It's a big move at the right time, too. But D, yeah, she struggled, but guess what? She still voted.
She
That
did.
struggle bus. That was a short ride on the struggle bus.
And she did vote to send Drew home. What did we think about Drew's game this season? We had to say goodbye to him tonight, but I thought Drew was a really good player. And if he comes back to play again, which I think he should get the invite back, I think it was very entertaining, like a very entertaining character. I think Drew just needs to, he talked about growing from this experience. And I think if he dials back on his cockiness, his confidence a little bit, I think this is a player who could come back and win. I hate to make this comparison. I know he said before, don't make this comparison, but I do compare him to Cochran. No, well, he's gotten Fishback. Yes, I know a lot of people say Fishback. I say Cochran. Hold on. There we go. Look at that. That could be Drew if Drew grew a beard. Cochran didn't win his first season. Cochran got a little too cocky his first season, got voted out, came back and won the game. And I think that Andy played a perfect game. I forgot about that. I think Drew is a very good player who could come back and win if because he was playing a great game. He just got too cocky, too overconfident, too emotional. If he can dial that back, there's no reason he can't come back and win Survivor.
I agree with you. I think Drew is a good player. I think that he just got really overconfident really early, and his words of just crushing people. You know, we saw where him and Jake had a run in, and the edit shows his response to Jake. I mean, you saw when you ran over Julie when she came back. You should have known Julie was out to get you. I mean, you should have said, you know what, if nothing else, I'm just going to be peaceful. And then that wasn't a nail in his coffin. The nail in his coffin was his tribal council speech. If anybody wasn't going to vote for him, again, they're hearing you speak. So they know how you can present yourself to the jury because they're hearing you speak. The jury is hearing you speak. They're collecting the little nuggets too. So they're like, wait a minute, he sounds right. Or you don't want the jury to go back to Ponderosa being like, man, Drew is killing him over there. Killing him. Keep doing it. So Drew, dial that part back. I'm not saying don't come in there confident. Come in there confident like you did this time. But if you go back to the first couple of episodes, that wasn't how Drew was acting. Drew got real cocky at this end right here. And for all you cocky players, Drew going to Ponderosa right now. He going to be able to take a shower, save, get something to eat, but he going to be at Ponderosa thinking about it. And when he wakes up in the morning, that is all he will be thinking about.
Drew wasn't for everyone, as Spill the Immunity says. Drew's temper tantrum was beyond annoying. I was glad to see him go. It wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I will say that. I enjoyed
watching
watching
too much
him.
trash. He was talking too much trash to everybody. He got so many edits of Drew
No,
talking
we
trash
had-
to everybody.
I didn't bring it up earlier. We had Smash Talk this episode. D, I love the Smash Talk between D and Austin this episode. Well, your foot getting tired over there?
No,
He's like,
I was what'd you say, the full good time? And then I was already talking about when you talking when they was on the
When
when
they
it was actually doing the challenge.
at the challenge, she's like,
Oh,
"Hey,
yeah,
Austin, your foot getting tired?" He's like, "No, I'm just getting bored." Good. She-
Yeah, I didn't really
she was
get that
talking
response.
smack. She was talking smack.
That was-
Sad to see Drew go, but we are on to our final five. Julie, Katura, Jake, Austin, and D will battle it out to become sole survivor of season 45. Add their name, add their face to our long list of survivor winners. I cannot wait, Abraham. And this is a great way to transition into this. Next Monday, not next Monday, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, Abraham and myself fly out for a 3-night event with Bryce and Wendell. Sorry, I was going to say Bryce and Wynn Presents, and I messed that whole thing up. We fly out for a 3-night event with Bryce and Wynn Presents. These events are always amazing. Night 1, you have a karaoke party. It's just a fun time hanging out with your favorite reality TV stars. Then night 2, we get down to business. We are there to crown a survivor winner, a new soul survivor. And then night 3, I believe they are doing a House of Villains watch party. So 3 nights of events in the epicenter of entertainment, Los Angeles. Abraham, I am so excited to go out there. I'm so pumped. I can't. I'm trying to contain my excitement. But if you guys are out in LA, you're going to the event, make sure to stop by and say hi to Abraham and myself. We would love to meet you guys. We will be there for at least the first 2 nights. I don't know about the 3rd night yet.
Reach out to us on social media. We will be in LA and we will be crowning another survivor winner. If I'm not mistaken, 50-50 Jam will be out there as well. But it's always a house full of alums that's just there to crown the new winners, just to sit back and enjoy ourselves. I know we had the pleasure of meeting most of the cast at the kickoff party. The end of last season, the kickoff for 45. So it's good to see them at the end of the season. It's going to be a great time out there. And in the house will be Survivor Now podcast, working with Bryce and Wynn Present to put on a hell of a 45 finale.
Yeah, we've got some exciting news coming up. I don't know when they want to announce it, but we're going to be helping out. We're going to be bringing you guys some amazing coverage of the event itself, and I'm just looking forward to it. I was going to say, Abraham, you said there's always like Survivor castaways, Survivor alum. I'm not a Survivor alum, and I'm going to be there. I feel like do I fall in TV personnel yet? Have I hit that mark? Am I TV personnel?
I think Randy has short-term memory. Fans of the show, go back out there and look at the beginning of the show where Randy gives out his statistical information for Survivor Now podcast. I think you're pretty good. I think you can join up and get your own respect.
Do I have my foot in the door? My brother is tuning in. We talked about him earlier. Hello.
Look, the Survivor Now podcast.
He's in the other room right now.
The Survivor Now podcast has its own stands. You don't have to stand on nobody else. You got your own footing. Survivor Now podcast is going out to LA. We're going to do a little bit of work out there. We're going to attend the season finale at 45, which has been a great season. But Randy Bruce, you got your own cred, man. I remember when I first met you, I was like, hey, man.
I can't wait.
I said, well, I got my street cred. Look, I got my season 41 street cred. Randy Bruce, Survivor Now podcast, you have your official street cred. And they invited you out here to be a part of this. So you're in the house now. Welcome to the club.
I can't believe it.
I know the karaoke party is a nice one. It's a little more laid back, a little more chill.
Yeah.
A lot of us will be out there because it's a lot of alum that's already in LA. We're all gonna be out there. Yep, I got courtside seats. He going to the LA game?
No, he's right next door. That's what he said. Yeah, I hope that I hope they have the music down a little bit this time. Last time we were screaming at that karaoke party trying to
That's
say,
that's when karaoke started. Oh yeah, that's another pre-party that we were at before. Now the pre-party before that was just laid back and chill.
yeah, they're going to have DJ Caution there, which playing some incredible beats. I sang last time. Abraham, are you going to sing this time?
No.
I sang a classic karaoke song. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache.
That's because Randy sings
Tell
for
me
real.
why ain't nothing but a well, not now. I don't have a voice. Right
Yeah,
now.
I would have a beverage and sit back and watch other people sing and enjoy the moment. But
We
it's
got-
also it's
we're
gonna be
gonna
good
be
to see a
busy.
lot of players too, huh?
We're gonna be busy out there, Abraham. We're gonna be. I feel like we're gonna have plans every day with people. I'll talk to you about that after the show.
Yeah, I'm coming. Like I said, I'm coming back. I'm coming off of the charity event last weekend in Orlando,
So
Florida.
jealous. I should have went. Abraham
Again,
said I missed out.
they were looking for Randy Bruce from the Survivor Now podcast. I ran into some of his fans, and they were looking for him. And I was like, "Well, Randy's at work." And I called him. He was at work. Somebody actually took a picture of me calling you and posted it, and was like, "Hey, Abraham is calling Randy." I was like,
They wanted a rendition of my song "Bubblegum Love."
Oh yeah. They was looking. Look. I'm telling you, man. They were looking for you out there at the charity event. Word on the street is they're going to do it again next year. It's going to be even bigger and better. Look forward to seeing that information come out and see how that's going to be put back together for next year. 38 of I think it's 32 or 38 of us came out there to support the event. Had a great time, great fans, great night. So it's going to be looking forward to now. Next week is LA.
Let's see. Oh, look at you dropping bars. What's the go-to karaoke song for me? That is the go-to karaoke song. I might have been preparing, like, what am I going to sing next week? I thought about Rihanna Stay. That's always a good one. Remember the walls we built? Well, baby, they're tumbling down. I thought
That's
about
I'm
that.
having
Yeah.
a beverage right there. I'm
Yeah,
having a beverage.
well, I'm going to have a lot of beverages. Because of that, we will not be live on YouTube next Wednesday. There will be no Survivor Now podcast next Wednesday night. Abraham and I will not be in the position to do a show, but there might be a podcast in LA. We might do a little thing from the hotel. We do not know yet. It depends on our schedule. So just stay tuned. Hit that notification bell on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel to be aware if we do go live. I will say that the Thursday, so the day after the finale, got something for you. Phil, Ollie, and Matthew will all be live to break down the finale. That will be the first chance to hear what our analysts have to say about it. So they're going to be live on Thursday. Spill the Immunity. You're welcome to hop into my podcast on Thursday. Hey,
what time is they're gonna do the podcast on Thursday?
I do not know. I'd have to relook at that. I think they're doing it about midday.
We might go find Phil and go hang out with Phil and do it from Phil's location.
We might do. I was going to say, Spill the Immunity said at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will probably not be up at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The party goes till 2 a.m. But thank you so much. We would love to do a collab with you sometime, for real. Just reach out to us, DM us. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to check us out on Spotify. Leave us a rating. We preferably 5 stars. We really, really appreciate you guys and your support. Check out our website, survivornowpodcast.com. That has all of our 45 coverage, all of our Survivor UK coverage, including all of the exit interviews. Tomorrow, myself, Matthew, and Ollie will be breaking down episodes 13 and 14, I believe, of Survivor UK. Their finale is this Saturday, so they are also going to be crowning a new winner to the Survivor universe. Very excited to see that. It's been a wonderful season if you have not been watching. Also, head over to our Instagram. We just began the first round of voting to crown our next 5 castaways members of the Survivor Now Hall of Fame. They will be part of the 2024 cast. You can go on to our stories on Instagram and say who you think belongs in the Hall of Fame, who isn't already there. So far, we have the Queen Sandra, we have Tony, we have Richard Hatch, we have Sari, we have Boston Rob. Those were the first 5 entrants last year. Now we are about to do the 2024 class. So you can go on to our Instagram and say who you think should be in the Hall of Fame. Second round of voting will be after the new year in January. Abraham, before we sign off, anything exciting for you, man?
Look, like I said before, season 45 has not been a disappointment. It's been a great season. Looking forward to being out in LA next week. Just enjoying the cast, how they just absorbed this last final push to see them celebrate and, crown their own winner. Get a chance to see some of the other alumni from Survivor family. So it's going to be great. Stay tuned. Join us. We will be around next week. And let's have a good time, man. Just end the season on a high note.
Abraham, I'm looking forward to just seeing you again. This is going to be what, our second or third year seeing each other?
Did I just see you in New York?
You saw me in New York.
At the beginning of the season?
So it's our second year because I saw you in New York last year too.
No, we saw each other at the beginning of this year.
Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is this my second
twice
time?
this year. This is twice this year.
That's right. Twice this year. Hopefully you're not sick of me yet.
No, I think we started in New York, which I said I wouldn't come back to New York but we started in New York. I can't remember what season it was.
It was the season 43 premiere, I believe.
Yeah, so we did New York. We've done New York twice, and this is the first time doing LA.
It's going to be super fun.
I thought we did something else too.
I don't know. I got to fly out to Texas sometime and meet you in Texas.
Well, Texas. I think we were going to do an event today with Johnny Fairplay, but he got sick, so he canceled. So I was going to go up to Houston and do a watch party up there, but he canceled because he had somebody I wanted to meet from Love is Blind. Love is Blind. I wanted to meet one of them. I had some questions about that. So looking forward to see who's going to pop up. It's going to be pretty interesting next week because not only does Survivor players pop up, it's a lot of other people pop up.
Big Brother, and it's LA. We know there's a lot of celebs in LA. I think Jeff Probst lives out in LA.
He does. Big Brother always pops up.
I'm
We
just
always
saying,
have
could Jeff
Naked and
Probst-
Afraid. They'll be out there. Amazing Race will be out there.
Could
Some
Jeff
of the
Probst
Netflix
be out
shows.
there? Squid Game, maybe Squid Game.
Games. Squid Game 2 is coming.
I'm applying to that. Hopefully, I'll get on. So
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after the thing.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We will catch you guys next time. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to find out when we go live with our next podcast. Have a great night, everyone.